Let's get these Q&As going, shall we? All right, all right. Welcome aboard, everybody. Welcome aboard. Hey, Eric. Hey, what's going on, man? All right, cool. All right, we got that. We got that. All right, sweet. Hey, Vinyl. Okay, paso. She got enough of my teeth. Hello, Linda, Lydia, Nancy, Kathy. Right on. Appreciate y'all being here. Hey, folkses. Right on. Nothing my teeth. 556. We take our Scott Adams first sip of hot tea. And the you love your golf, Vinyl. That's funny. Sean PA, right on. Did I ever look into mortgage recasting? I have no idea what it is, Lydia. Hey, Jill. Hey, right on. You finally got a notification. Okay, cool. Jill, I'm not sure if let's see. Oops. Jill, I think so. Lydia, I just moved you. Type something, Lydia, right there. I want to see if we can still see you here. Type something here. Oops. Hey, Pablo. Hey, everybody. 762 yourself, right on. We got 556 on that side, 762 on this side. I guess she's not here anymore. Oh, yeah. All right. Never mind. So it's still showing you as, all right. I'm just going to add you as a moderator. That's weird. Okay. Anyway, nope. All right. So you're a moderator. Okay, good. So we got, that's fine. And so just like, oh, hold on. And Lydia, just like I tell anybody who's a moderator, if someone gets racist or sexist or, you know, anti-religious, just nuke them. We do have that on occasion. Jill's good at that, nuking people, which I like a lot. But, you know, sometimes, you know, because of the freaking, oh yeah, the attack. Sometimes, you know, like the notifications don't go out well. It's it will get some crazies on there who are saying stupid stuff, and they need to be. And I'm late on the comments, if that makes sense. Oh, thanks, babes. And so because of that, I'm if there are, it just, you can nuke people. I don't want too many moderators, frankly, but like I got my contingent, and sometimes they show up and sometimes they don't. So if you're on here and people are acting stupid, just nuke them. Now that doesn't mean they can disagree with me. That's fine. But I don't care about that. But the minute you start getting racist crap, I hate that. Anti-Semitic stuff, I hate that. You know, it's just all that. I hate that crap. It's just not worth it, and it's ugly. And I don't want ugliness on the channel, that's for sure. So feel free. Hey, so Paul's retiring in 10 weeks, moving back to Texas. I'm building your dream home. Right on, man. Eric says, please nuke me, and then it made me. That's funny, Eric. And then it made me have to unhide that comment. That was weird. I insulated concrete form home. That's interesting. Insulated concrete form home. I'm not familiar with that, Paul. That's if there's I don't know what that is. So that's insulated concrete form home. That's interesting. Where are you moving from, Paul, and where are you moving to? More Iowa. Hey, Dan, you can do some fishing. Dan Cullibert. All right. And there's my man, Dan Cullibert, too. So Lydia's got a channel, My Investment Journey. Dan's got a channel. If you all have channels, I'm happy to promote the hell out of it, by the way. Karen McDougal's on here, Jerry, Jason, Cumming, Georgia. Paul, okay, there you go. You're right down the street. You're right up the street from me. Right on. Cool. All right, so Jill, you got a notification. Right on. Cool. All right, so again, I don't know what... yeah, you can, by all means, tell me what mortgage recast. You can email me whatever you want to do. I'm interested in it for sure. Anderson, South Carolina. I know that. Yeah, fishing today. Right on. That's awesome. Awesome. I've had other moderators who've kind of come and gone simply because it's weird how that, well, I don't feel like getting into it actually. Again, this, you sign up to this guy's YouTube channel. Man, what? So Paul, why There's Roth, right on. All right, Paul, coming Georgia to Canyon Lake, Texas. They made me have to. That was initially blocked by YouTube. Why? I mean, I guess because it's coming. It's stupid. David. Anyways, that's Ice Age Farmer. And again, I forgot what it says on the back. It says, what does it say? I forgot what it says on the back. Something is fertile. Ice Age Farmer's got a YouTube channel. My man Christian. Resistance is fertile. That's what it is. All right, cool. Pablo is Chloe and Charlotte. The ladies still are in the house. Just went to go get some Dairy Queen, and Pablo is begging for a pup cup of Dairy Queen ice cream. But notice, I did not get a peanut butter parfait without the peanuts. I did not. That's it. What's that? All right, mortgage recasting. You can basically do a principal payment to your mortgage and call the bank and ask them to amortize your mortgage. They'll do a new monthly payment without having to refinance. Basically do a principal payment to your mortgage and call the bank and ask them to amortize it. Like a new amortization? Is that what you're saying? Like re-amortize it with a new 30-year term? I mean, I don't get it. So what's masshole? Yeah, right on. That's what we used to call them up in Maine. All these massive massholes would come to Peaks Island, like, except, so when I was living on Peaks Island, man, on all these Massachusetts would come up, and we had, I won't say her name, but there's a young lady who I was, oh my goodness, I was so hot for. And I was like, what, 10 on Peaks Island? Kathy. And she was yellow hair. And I remember just like, man, I was a super shy guy. And one time I was riding my bike and she was riding this way and she said, hi. And I was like, Charlie Brown, like she said, hi. Well, who's it, Charlie Brown? She said, hi. She said, hi. I was like, head over. It was crazy, man. And they used to go to Hadlock Cove. And I always went down there. Of course, you know, when you're that young and a boy, the whole point is never to talk to a girl. You're just like, The loan term doesn't change as the monthly payment goes on because they re-amortize it based on your new. Oh, because they're amortizing based on the new interest rate. That's interesting. So let's the Illinois. If you're in Illinois, you got to get the hell out of Dodge, man. So new amortization with a new interest rate. Yeah, Jill. Pablo loves his pup cups. This man is nuts. So if you have, let's say, 240 months left on your note, and you had 5 1/4, they'll re-amortize it for 240 months, but the new rate would be 3 1/4 if that's what the rates have changed. If you got an article on that, send that to me. That sounds interesting, actually, Lydia. That's yes, yeah, exactly. Yeah, that jazz pianist. Yep, that's horrible. Dan's surrounded by the woke, and he's moving up to the good old New Hampshire Free State Project. All right, so man, Eric, we're gonna start our first Q&A here, and Eric had emailed me this, and so we're gonna read this. All right, so let's go into this. Just real quick, if you're, I don't get what the interest rate doesn't change, but they're not changing the term. I don't understand. I'm at a loss with this, so just I have to look into that. I mean, if they're not changing the term, if it's still what you got 240 months left on the note, and they're not changing the term, they're not changing the interest rate. I don't get it. I don't get why that would. The only thing I could do is they're changing the term, so they're spreading out from 240 to 360. But that would be, I'd have to look. I'm following you. I'm not following there for sure. All right. So Eric says, Josh, love the content. I'm from Wisconsin. Quick curiosity overview if possible. I got 50,000 expenses, 250,000 on his home, no mortgage, got no debt. He's 50. His better half is 47. They got 800, 318. So let me get my trusty calculator. They got 8 plus 318 plus 56 plus 80. All right. So they got 1.24, 1.25 million in liquid assets. They both have small pensions, about $1,700 a year in pensions. Quick view of my. All right. So he's asking, what's my thoughts? I'm not sure what he's asking me. So he's asking what my thoughts are. We have 2 kids in 10 and 12 in private school. I'm confused. What are we trying to accomplish? Are we trying to retire? I don't get what you're trying to do. Are you not? So you got no mortgage. You got $1.25 million. You have pensions at some point. I don't know what your thoughts are. So I don't know, Eric. So I don't know what. I'm not sure what we're trying to accomplish here. You said what are my thoughts? Looks like you're pretty good shape, but I don't know what we're trying to do here. I mean, if you're only living on $50,000 a year, and at some point of that 50,000, oh, okay, gotcha. All right. So Eric said, I got you. Okay, so he wants to retire in 3 to 5 years. Oh, no, jeez. Obviously, I don't know if that 50,000 includes the kids in private school. Rob, you got no more. You haven't had a mortgage since you're. I can't even imagine not having a mortgage. I can't even imagine. All right, so here's final on the mortgage recast. If you lower the principal with additional payments and the interest rate and length of doesn't change, then your payment should go down. All right. Yeah, but I mean, I don't get why you need to get. I don't get it. If you lower the principal with additional payments. I'm confused. What I mean, I don't get it. I mean, the principles. Yeah, Mike, that Illinois is nuts. I guess I'm confused. And without running the numbers, if you have lower the principal, so let's say you had your initial mortgage was 3, now it's 240, and you still have 240 months on it. All right, I have to run the amortization. Nancy got her house paid off 2 years. All right, 2 years ago. All right, so Eric is saying he needs 50,000 a year, my friends. 50,000 a year. He's 50 years old. Are you getting ready to retire as a law enforcement officer or first responder or something like that, Eric? Because that would be big in terms of your ability to access your. Oh, it's all okay. You don't have a TSP or a 401k or 403b or anything. Or is your wife, is she like a first responder somehow? Because remember, the first responders, you have access to your retirement plans, not your IRAs, retirement plans after you turn 50, right? So if you separate from service, if you're a cop, it could be a sheriff's deputy, it could be a border patrol agent, it could be an EMT of some sort. I'm not sure about nurses, frankly, I don't know. But if you're a first responder, you have access to your TSP, your 403b, your 401k, post 49 years old. You can separate from service without any penalty post 49. It's nuts. Appliance repair, right on. Okay. All right. So you got and then I'm assuming that if you were to retire, Eric, your better half would still be working or no? What do you think? Okay, we don't have more. All right. So he's appliance. But just remember, if you're a first responder and you've heard of the 72T rule regarding. Hey, Wade, regarding separating from service at 55 or above. So just let me explain what that means. No on wife either. Okay. So your wife would be retiring too. So basically in 2 to 3 years, you want to quit your crap hill jobs and go on to bigger and better things. Okay. Gotcha. All right. So for simplicity, forget the pension for just a second. We're going to start. So here's what I tell people all the time. We're going to start with the basics. Eric needs 50,000 a year, and people always lose. Right on. They always lose this. I'm saying we're just using 1.25 million at 50,000 a year. So we're starting first and foremost with no growth, no inflation, no nothing. And we're saying, all right, 125 divided by 50. That's a 2.5% distribution rate. That's it. Right? 2.5%. Now, will he still need 50,000 a year once he retires? I don't know. He might need a little bit more, a little bit less. In of itself, no one's running out of money with a 2.5% distribution rate. No one's doing that. It's just not happening. Part 2, at some point, Eric's beautiful is going to get, they're both going to get pensions of 17, a total of $1,700 a month. So $1,700 times 12 is 20,000. That right there is 40% of the 50,000 they need. At some point, given how much money they got, they're probably gonna get between them, you know, let's just say 3,000 a month in Social Security. So between their pension and Social Security, they're gonna probably get they're probably gonna have all their money covered right there. Now that's gonna take, you know, 15 years or so before they get that. But at 50,000 a year, drawing down on 1.25 million, that's no big deal at all. Now they're gonna have to pay some taxes, right? Because it's a good amount of money in an IRA, and they're probably gonna have to pay some penalties too, because they're gonna have to take the IRA money out before they're 59.5. Well, that sucks, man. But guess what? You're only spending 50,000 a year. I mean, so literally 50,000 a year. That's in a that's in a 10% tax bracket after standard deductions. Pretty close. We'll just say 12% tax bracket. So you're gonna pull 50,000 out of your IRA. You're gonna pay 5,000 in a premature penalty, and on top of that, wait, you have too much in after tax right now? You do? I don't see that, brother. No, I think you're wrong. I think you don't have enough in after tax. Anyway, so what's going to happen? But I don't even care. So let's just say for the taxes and the premature distribution, it's 60,000 here. You got to pull 60,000 here to net 50,000. You got 1.25 million. 60 divided by 1,250. That's a 4.8% distribution rate. That's nothing, man. Because once you get on Social Security and once you're on your pension, you don't even have to hardly take anything out. Exactly. Okay, right on. I think that's right. You have too much in pre-tax. There's nothing you can do about it now. I tell you, man, this is the issue I have with people. When I say stop maxing your 401k. I thought the same, Vinyl. Is that when you max in your 401k, you're putting the handcuffs on before you're 59.5. That's a fact. Now, Eric, he's saying he's got 50,000 years was income needs. I don't know if that includes health insurance. I have no idea. I'm just going off what he says. But if you got 1.25 million and you're going to have Social Security, and you're going to have Social Security, and you got, you know, a pension, small, but a pension nonetheless, and no debt. Yeah, exactly, Dan. So it's 4.8% before Social Security kicks in. And then, you know, so another 15 years or so, he'll need to take out 4.8%. Then once Social Security and the pension kicks in, he won't need to take out anything. You see what I'm saying? So, I mean, that's a wow, Pablo's barking. So he'll have to take, let's just say he's taking 5% a year out. That's no big deal. And then he's got to pay tax on that. That's only for 15 years. Then after Social Security kicks in, he's not going to take anything. And if you're only having a 15-year time frame in retirement, 5%, you don't need some stupid 4% rule. You don't even need a 5%. You can go to 6% even, man, for sure. So what I would do, Eric, is I'd make sure you have 4 years of cash. I'd have everything in VTI and 4 years of cash, without question. Everything in VTI and 4 years of cash. All right. Hope that helps. But yeah, you're fine, dude. Nancy says her husband has health issues and may not live until age 70. Okay. Yes. So Nancy, okay. Good question. Nancy says her husband has health issues and may not live until age 70. He was a higher wage earner. If I take that 62 and have him wait until 70, can I continue his Social Security to maturity, even if he dies? Yes. Oh, great question, Nancy. Oh, that's fantastic. So the answer is yes, and you're hitting on the head. So Nancy, you need to do that. You take yours at 62. All right. I hate to hear about your husband's health. I'm not sure how old you are, but anyway, so now he dies, and we'll just say you're 64. All right. And what you're doing is you're saying, I'm going to allow, well, it depends on when he dies. It depends. Let's just say he dies when he's 70 and you're 62. All right. So what was happening here is you're going to take yours. You'd have to look at taking his. It just depends on what the numbers look like. There are two different benefits here. There's a survivor benefit and your own benefit. And the survivor benefit and your own benefit do not conflict. And what I mean by that, a spousal benefit conflicts if you take it too early. You do reduce your own benefit. If you take your own benefit, you are reducing your benefit amount, and you're reducing your spousal benefit amount if you qualify. Now, remember, a spousal benefit is just half of what your husband's is for his primary insurance amount. So for simplicity, Well, I do have this. You have your husband's got a $2,000 a month benefit. And Linda, if you are out there, I appreciate all this stuff, and I've been chomping on those. Yeah, I've been chomping on those almonds you sent to me, and you had sent me a letter, and I've been meaning to read. I had it, and I was going to read it, and then it's right here, I think. Oh, I just dropped it. I got to get it back. Hold on just a second. But anyways, Linda, I haven't forgotten you. If you're on this watching, mucho gracias. All right. So Nancy, yeah, right. Yeah, Nancy. All right. So for your husband, is $2,000 a month. This is PIA. $2,000 a month. That's his PIA. You will get half of that. All right. So that's his PIA. Remember, PIA is your primary insurance amount. That is the amount he will, or yours too. That's the amount in this case he will get when he's 66 or 67, depending on when he was born. Your spousal benefit is half that $2,000 a month. I hope I got something to write this off. Okay. So that's your spousal benefit. Now, if he doesn't take his Social Security until he's 70, that $2,000 a month now grows to $2,480. All right. Now, if you, man, that's potent. I thought it might smell like licorice or something. No, I don't know. I don't know what kids do today when they smoke, just sniff stuff. But man, that's potent. Woo, man. All right, so that's $2,480. All right. So now when he dies, this is the amount you're going to get right there. You will get that $2,480 if he survives until he's 70. If he dies at 68, you're going to get less. If he dies at 67, you'll get less because they only give him the amount he would have had if he would have taken it before he died. I hope that makes sense. Anyway, so you're going to get this. So in the interim, you just say you're getting either your benefit or half of his, whichever is larger. So you're going to get half your benefit, half of his benefit, or your benefit, whichever is larger. But remember, if you take it at 62, it's going to be reduced by another amount of money. And so basically what we're going to have is produced by, you're going to get 35% of this. It's going to be $750. So if you take your spousal benefit, it'll be $750, all right, at 62, $750. Now, what's happening is you're going to trade that spousal benefit until this later on down the road. You can do that, all right, because taking your benefit or your spousal benefit early does not reduce your survivor benefit. Now, the problem that comes in a lot of times, it's actually better to take this, depending on what your Social Security numbers are, it's actually better to take your survivor benefit and allow your own benefit to grow, if that makes sense. So that's the challenge. Is sometimes it's better to take your survivor benefit, that $2,480 or the whatever it is, and allow your own benefit to grow, because your own benefit might actually be higher than his benefit at 70. But given you said he's a higher wage earner, I bet that's not going to be the case. So generally speaking, you're hitting on the head. You're going to want to do exactly what you're proposing. You take your benefit early, it will be reduced. It's either going to be 35% of his PIA, or you'll have a reduced benefit on your own record. And you want him to not take it until he's 70. That way you can sacrifice that. And once he dies, you take the survivor benefit. I hope that makes sense, but you're hitting on the head. I did a video over 2 years ago, how Social Security is still shortchanging widows. Still pisses me off, man, because we've got numbers and we've got data and we got evidence that Social Security is, I'm not going to say doing this deliberately, but they go to the office and they're going to say, hey, Nancy, your husband, there are these two numbers here. And they're going to say, you should take the one that's worth the most. And you're like, yes, but the one that's worth the most is not worth the most in the future. It's just worth the most now. I'm telling you, I'm not convinced Social Security does not try to encourage people to take the least benefit, if that makes sense. I'm not convinced about that at all. All right, so I think I might have missed something here. We talked about mortgage recasting. Yeah, Illinois. If you haven't seen my video on Illinois, it's a cluster fark. You got to get the hell out of there. This is insane. I've never even heard this tax recapture. The only other time I heard it was in Massachusetts. What this is once you go into the next marginal bracket, every penny you earn up to that is taxed as if from the first penny in that next marginal bracket. So for simplicity, You're in a 10% bracket. You go $5,000 into the 12% bracket. You're only paying 12% on the extra $5,000. The rest of the money you made is still being taxed at 10. Not in the Illinois proposed the constitutional amendment that they're trying to pass. What that is, they're saying we're going to recapture. You went to the 12% tax bracket. Everything you made from the first dollar will be taxed at 12%. That's freaking nuts. That's nuts. Insanity. I have no clue if it's going to pass. I would, if it just, and this is just the first shot across the bow, whatever. Crazy. I'm sitting there, who the hell would want to live in Illinois? The only thing it had going for it was it had low income taxes and retirement. Well, that's going to change all this. Now, Massachusetts has the same thing on the estate tax. I'm telling you right now, a lot of people don't know this. You get $1 million estate tax exemption in Massachusetts. Remember, your life insurance, if you own it, is included in your estate. So it doesn't take much in Massachusetts to have a taxable estate. Life insurance, your house, and a 401k. I mean, that's many people in Massachusetts are going to have over $1 million in their estate. Now, once you go above the $1 million threshold, your whole estate is taxed as an estate. You don't have the first $1 million exemption anymore. You don't pay any estate tax on the first $1 million until you go over $1 million, and then you're subject to estate tax from the beginning of your estate, from the very first penny that you own in your estate. It's freaking nuts, dudes. Nuts. And so the same thing is here would happen to Illinois with their income tax. It's the place is just it's a cluster. You got to get out. There's no other way around that. It's probably going to be maybe even too late if they pass that thing. Who the hell's going to want to move to Illinois? He said, I'm not moving my business to Illinois. I'm not moving to Illinois. So you're just going to go down with the ship. What I would do is I try to succeed. I think there's going to be more and more of that, states succeeding from each other. And I'm all for it. If they open up the border for Puerto Rico and DC to become states, I say, hell, it's on, man. All right, we'll separate Georgia to 4 different states. You know what I'm saying? You got North Georgia, Atlanta, South Georgia, whatever, something like that. That's fine. And then, if the Democrats want to play that way, we'll get 4 different states in Georgia. Virginia, we'll give you Northern Virginia. We'll be Southern Virginia. You see what I'm saying? Hell, in Rockham County, we'll be Western Virginia. And then we got West Virginia as well. I got no qualm with that. If they want to play that. All right. Found only 95 in Phoenix, man. Woo. That's nuts. All right, so let's see. All right. I'm 19, very new to the financial world, trying to get into it. Would it be smart to live in an apartment or condo in or around Boston while or after college? Would it be smart to live in an apartment, or where else would you live? I don't get it. Oh man, they keep running ads constantly on the fair tax. Yikes. I bet I want to. Yep, Massachusetts 1 million. That's it, Vinyl. Yep. They are a sovereign state. They can have whatever tax they like. I agree, and that's a nice thing. Get the hell out of there. Just like, who is it? Graham Stephan moving to Las Vegas. Even freaking Bill Maher is talking about getting out of California. I'm a serious contender for the I would like to ask how much the original banana cost so I can make sure the banana is the same. Okay. Let's just move that. All right. So any strategy you recommend in terms of using trailing stop orders to mitigate the market crash risk and preserve principal? I mean, what these, when I studied for my Series 7, they had some abbreviation, OBLOS. Is that what a stop? I don't, Randall, I got no, I mean, yeah, stop loss order, something like that. I can't remember. It's been so long since I did any of that. Yeah, put stops on there. I forgot I don't even remember how it works, man. Sniffy Joe, my Social Security is going to be more than half of his. Okay, right on. So your Social Security will be more than half of his. That means you're going to take yours will be reduced, and then you're going to allow his to grow until he dies or he hits 70, and then you're going to. It just, I tell you, it just depends on the true numbers. But I think that's probably the best bet without knowing your stuff too much. It just, you gotta, so what you'd have to do, Nancy, is you have to compare what your benefit will be if you were to defer taking your own benefit till 70. Will it be more than his at 70? I frankly doubt it. In fact, I'm almost certain it won't be. So then you should take yours early and allow his to continue to grow until he's 70 with a delayed earnings credits. Yeah, that makes sense to me. All right, Nancy. All right, so CB asked a good question. What? All right, what are the top 3 covers voted on for the Wellington book? We got the book. We got the cover. Did I? Let's see. Hold on. Ooh. All right, I'll share it with you guys. Let me just find it real quick. So this is the cover right there. There it is. There's the cover. Pretty cool. Building a solid retirement plan using the Wellington Fund. And here's the back. Oops. It's funny because Mary Hampton, she got to me first. She liked this one the best. And then it went between this one, the black, and then it was another one which I didn't like. It was a yellow and kind of like a stair step one. So those are the top 3. And so this one, the black, and then the stair step one. And I like this one the best too. So that's good. And here comes the back of it. Let's see if you guys can see that. And you got my smiling mug. And then you got we're adding my website on here too. So it's cool, man. I'm excited about the Wellington book for sure. And I'm going to actually read. When you're writing a book, it actually helps when you actually let me just show you the back. I'm not sure if I was or not. Oh yeah, you don't think I was. There we go. So there's the back right there. When you're writing a book, it actually helps, at least me, to read it out loud. So I'm going to do videos on every. I'm going to read the whole thing and do a video on it. Over the course of next week or so. It's done. It's pretty much it's done. And what I mean by that being done, the problem with this is I had a different conclusion than I anticipated. And I've had a couple of people read it and audit it for me, and they've gave me some wonderful suggestions. But I'm telling you, this has changed my philosophy of doing the research on the Wellington Fund remarkably relative to the barbell. I love the barbell approach, but when I ran the numbers and the reverse RMD at starting with 10%, that it was the way to go. I mean, I'm telling you. And so initially I was writing the book with the barbell approach to share with people. And then I kept coming back to that reverse RMD. And while the barbell approach is good, the barbell approach it wasn't as good as the reverse required. And I hate to say RMD, required minimum distribution. But what I mean by that is you start with a premise. And so what happens with RMDs is you take 3.6% the first year, 3.8, 4, 4.2. So you take a gradual amount as you age. The reverse RMD is something I kind of made up. Is you're starting with a high amount and then you're taking less as you age. So 10, 9.8, 9.6, and the 10% starting with the 10% reverse RMD it smoked all of them without question. The barbell didn't come close because inflation destroyed the barbell. Inflation destroyed the Wellington, frankly. Inflation destroyed just a good old-fashioned 4% rule in the Wellington, because the bonds in the Wellington Fund got smoked in inflation. That did not happen with the reverse RMD. It just didn't. I mean, it survived the Great Depression. It survived inflation. It survived 1973 and 74 chaos. And the barbell did great in the 1930s because we had deflation. The 4% rule and the 5% rule and stuff, they did fine in the 1930s too because of deflation. But then when inflation came, the Wellington just did not do well because of so much bonds. And when I say inflation, I don't just mean moderate inflation. I mean we never had hyperinflation in this country, not to the extent that Zimbabwean dollar, which I have here someplace. We've never had that. But what did I do with it? I guess I don't know where it's at. Hey, man. All right. So yeah, we've never had that kind of inflation in the US of A. But even, 8, 9, 10, 11% inflation from the 66 through 1982 just devastated Wellington. Anything that had bonds got devastated. Oh, here it is. Oop. Oh, man, no, I don't have it. Anyone know what this is right here? I don't have my, where's my Zimbabwean thing? Who knows what that is? Let's see. Right there. And that's actually the color. We used to have purple ones too. So let's see for you folks right there. Food stamp. That's right, Patty J. And so you had this is a brown one. You had a $5 food stamp was purple. And then you had a $10 food stamp that was orange. And I remember stealing this from my mom's purse, taking down to Feeney's Market on Peaks Island in Maine. You buy penny candy. So you get penny candy. So you get 3 cents of candy or 6 cents, whatever it was. And he have to give you change because there's no food stamps for change. No, Sergeant, no cash bucket. Anyway, and so you take that. We had this little arcade game down at the only restaurant we had. Well, the pizza restaurant was called Jones's Landing, which apparently is still there. And we go and play Galaga. It was a Galaga back then. Maybe not, but Space Invaders, Galaga and stuff. And so I remember stealing those food stamps from my mom. And one time when I was living large, I took a purple one, a $5 food stamp, and I bought some Cool Whip because, man, I tell you, my dad, when he lived at when he was with us, he used to make this whipped cream that he said so good it's natural. It's freaking nasty. I've always loved Cool Whip, man. Cool Whip. And so I remember going to my friend Seamus's house across the street, stole some money from my mom, got a thing of Cool Whip, played some video games, and sat on his front porch just eating Cool Whip with a spoon. Them's the life right there. It's Galaga. Oh, I could play Galaga, the hell out of Galaga, like crazy. And anyway, so that so it'd be like in the middle of wintertime, we'd go to the arcade, waiting for the boat to come take us to school, and we'd be in there playing Galaga just free because they didn't have any heat. It was like in this barn essentially. I'm surprised they even had electricity in there, but it did. So it'd just be all of us Peaks kids waiting for the boat to take us to Portland for the school. We'd be playing Galaga, and there's another one, Defender. It'd just be, but just freezing. And then we'd get out of that barn and go to the boat when it's coming and just freezing. The freaking wind, you're on the wharf waiting for the boat. The wind just whipping through. You're just like, oh. And I just remember thinking, oh, I just got to think about summer. Got to think about summer. Got to think about summer. Oh, man. All right. So that's a food stamp. And so I will say, when people talk white privilege, I say, there's my white privilege, man. There's my white privilege. So put that, anyone who says white privilege, they can put that in their peace pipe and smoke it. There's no such thing. And it's actually, if you want to make, if you don't want to meet people halfway, you just say, hey, you're white privilege because you're white. And people say, okay, we're done here. And I think that's the best way. Say, we are white privilege. Just because you don't know anything about us, we're white. That means we got white privilege. Nah. And anyone who says that is sadly a fool. It will be free on Kindle Unlimited, I guess. Yes, Rob. Yep. It's all right. So I think we had all right, here we go. So let me go back to all right, hold on a second. All right. I love Indiana, nice red state, except my county and 1 up or 2 by Chicago. Jill, some guy's saying he lives in Indiana over by the lake, someplace up there. Imagine over by Notre Dame or something like that. He says, he loves it. He says low crime, blue state, not blue, but red. People are friendly. Low taxes and stuff. And I don't know what that town would be, but he loved it. All right, so 57-year-old, should I be investing in VIT or Wellesley? What is VIT? What do I do my phone? On a buy or Wellesley on a bi-weekly basis. What is VIT? VIT. Oops. I assume you mean VTI. I don't see any VIT, man. So I'm assuming you mean VTI. I don't know what I don't know what you're trying to do. I don't know when you're trying to retire. I don't know There's two, if it's VTI, the total stock index, comparing that to Wellesley's, two pretty substantial differences there. So I don't know. Josh, I'm thinking about moving out of New Jersey. What's the real estate taxes? Oh, yeah. All right. So HB, when we moved from New Jersey, everyone and their mom were talking about the exit tax on New Jersey. And it wasn't that big of a deal. They took the price of your house. It just wasn't a big deal. I remember everybody and their mom made this huge issue about the exit tax. Now, we left New Jersey in 2012, 13. But I remember everyone's telling me, you can't move, there's going to be an exit tax. So that doesn't make any sense. And I don't even know if it was anything. It was, I mean, we bought our house in Haddonfield. I think we bought it for $410. We sold it for $440. We were only there for not even 2 years. So I can't remember if I think it just has something to do with the capital gain you had to pay. It's a small amount on the capital gain. That's it. And then that was the only tax we had to pay. And I don't even remember. I remember it wasn't much. It wasn't much. So just get the hell out, man. My sister's up there in Morristown, and they doubled her property taxes overnight because of COVID. I mean, that's the thing, man. These states, I did a video on this today, is like, these states with huge high unemployment. I mean, they're not, I don't get, I mean, where is the revenue going to come from? It's not like these liberal governors are tight fisted when it comes to government spending. So they're going to spend like drunken infantrymen. And yet there's not enough revenue to cover the spending that's already there. So those taxes are going up. There's no other way around that. And the counties are doomed. I mean, some of these, look, and I'm not faulting anyone, but there is some serious pension liabilities in some of these states. You know what I'm saying? And those pension liabilities, where's the money coming to paying for those? It's got to come from someplace. And I'd be getting out. No way around that. Sean says, I inherited a tax deferred IRA. I want to split it with my siblings. Oh boy. Yeah, that's tough, man, because it's a gift. So, I mean, if you were to take that inherited IRA and split it, why did your parents leave it to you? I don't understand that. They should have split it right out the gate. But now it's your property, man. And so your property, if you're going to split it with your siblings, you're going to give them a gift. And because it's a gift, it won't be subject to gift tax, but you might have to write a gift. You have to file a gift tax form if it's above $15,000. Gift tax form is what, a 2-pager, IRS form 709, not a big deal, but it is a gift tax form you got to fill out, Sean. It's a pain in the butt. And it's, again, not that big of a deal, but it sucks. But on top, even worse, though, is because you cannot give an IRA. Doesn't work like that. So an IRA would have to be literally just liquidated, taxed, and then given. And so I don't know why your folks were I don't know. That's bad planning. No other way around that. I don't get it. So no, that's not good, man. Gifts are, gifts are a pain in the butt. No other way around that. And I mean, when you're giving money or giving assets or even putting little Mary on your property deed, that is a gift. And when you make a gift of anything over $15,000, you're supposed to file 709, IRS tax form 709. It's not a big deal, but A, no one does it. And B, if it's, I mean, not only could that be subject to federal gift tax, could be subject to state gift tax. There's all kinds of different things going on here. So try to avoid giving as much as you can. If it's an estate, you just name your beneficiaries. You say, I got 4 kids. Each kid's getting 25%. Unless I find out that they're rooting for the Yankees or something like that. Actually, funny thing, I just don't even care. It's weird. Like I was listening, when I interviewed Sherry Peel Jackson, she made the point basically, stop watching TV and start your damn business. And I said, it's funny, since I stopped watching sports, I got so much more time on my hands. I don't have too much time on my hands. Remember that? Oh, such a horrible song. Too much. Oh, wasn't that what they did, like John Hall and Daryl Oates or something like that? Yep, right on. That's the one you voted on. It will be free on Kindle. How much? Some people, I don't know. $9.99. How much did I charge these other guys? I don't even know. Something around what I charged, maybe $5.99 on Kindle, $9.99 paperback or something like that. Whoever asked that, I'm not sure. It won't be much. The issue is the only book I charge more is my is this guy right here, because it's in color. I didn't do this myself. I had someone else do it, and they just had these pictures in color, and I should never have done that. That did not enhance the book at all. But because it's in color, it makes it, I don't know, it makes it more expensive to print, so I have to charge more for that. And I in hindsight, I wish they would not have done that. Let's see here. Yeah, so this book is all, I mean, I pay people for these covers, and this, is all black and white. And my Roth book right here doesn't have a back. All same thing, all black and white. And this will be the same. I'm just telling you, the reverse RMD, it's fantastic. I love it. Sergio says still have 4 years cash. No, this is the challenge, man, because the reverse RMD, you still need some cash. All right. I don't want to say you don't have any cash. I don't mean like that. But the point about the reverse RMD is it solves two dilemmas. One is that it ensures you will never run out of money. And the reason for that is because anytime you're taking a percentage out, you're inherently, that it doesn't matter what the percentage is. It matters, basically you're taking 10% a year out of X. Well, as long as X goes 10% a year, it could be 100, it could be 20. Well, 10% a year is still out of 20, which inherently means you're never, it's kind of like they do that thing where you say, if two objects are here and you're going halfway to the object, do you actually ever reach that object? If that makes sense. It's a brain teaser. So you're saying, I'm going halfway. In theory, you're never actually touching that object. And we all know that's silly, but you see what I'm saying? You're always going halfway. So if you have a portfolio of $100,000 and you're taking 10% a year out, well, no matter what happens, this is always going to be less than that, which inherently means the portfolio will never run out of money. And so that's good. So the people who are scared crapless of running out of money, well, we solved that right there. Just take a percentage out. And the barbell didn't do that in the 70s. And no, nothing did in the 70s. If you had bonds, you were smoked in the 70s. There's just no other way around that. Part two of this is that you have is that you're actually taking more out on the front end. And the problem with the 4% rule, what infuriates me is that, yes, you might not have it run out of money in the historical terms, but the problem is you didn't spend that much on the front. And the front end is when you want to enjoy it. That's when your retirement is worth. I hope that makes sense. But the front end is when you want to spend. And if you're not spending on the front end, you're 88 years old. You're like, man, thank goodness, Martha, I got a new wheelchair I can get. I mean, who cares? And half the time, Miss Bertha's dead, and it's just you sitting there freaking, you don't even know what you're doing anymore because it's just you. That's no fun. Actually, hold on just a second. I can make sure I get all right. But anyway, so where I'm going with that is that the 10% reverse RMD solves those two things. You spend more on the front end. You could spend a lot less on the back. I completely grant folks that. I don't deny that in the least. But you're taking out more on the front end. You're ensuring you're never going to run out of money. And I think that is a huge thing. Hold on just a second, guys. I gotta. There we go. I got to turn on monetization so I can get paid on this video. I don't know how you get paid on live streams, to be honest. I'm not sure how that works. Like when they do live streams, they show you ads while it's on or something. I don't know, but I like these live streams. It's fun. My wife's, you're doing another one, just doing last night. Yeah, I like it. And she doesn't mind. She says, as long as you're getting the money, she doesn't care. So, okay. I'm trying to convince her to go to South Dakota with me, actually, but she's like, she's too hardcore parkour for her job. She's like, it's tax season, Josh. I was like, man, quit your freaking tax season stuff. Come with me, man. Come with me. We're going to vacay. So I'm trying to get her to go with me. We'll see if I can make her come with me, because if we're looking at South Dakota, I want her to be there with me, if you know what I'm saying. So I can sell her on it if I need to. All right, hold on, just there we go. All right, sweet. Let me get back. Hey, what happened? I want to get back to the chat. Okay. Hold on just a second, amigos. There we go. All right, cool. So let's see what else we got here. All right, so hey, you're there in South Dakota? Yeah, right on, man. All right, let's see. Space Invaders. Yep. Galgos. Yep. Dollars. Okay. Disorderly market. Do you still have a? Oh yeah. So no. I never heard of orders not okay. Disorderly market. Too bad. Okay. Dollars could be presented loose, but needed to be from the book. Oh man, I worked in grocery store. That's funny. Now they just got it on a like an EBT or a debit card or something. That's crazy. Part of my Roth is stuck in an annuity I can't get fully out for 1.5 years. Lots of fees on the equity funds performed so bad this year. Yeah, I never liked asteroids, Rob. I may add 5 to 10% gold to my portfolio, capital preservation, hedge if all hell breaks loose. Yeah, I mean, I say all the time, having some gold only makes sense. Real gold, not a gold ETF or a gold mining company, but just real life, good old fashioned gold. You can hold, and like Scrooge McDuck, you can take a bath with it if you want. I think I'll move all to Wellington, but it seems I've lost this year, if not too horribly. I don't know. Has Wellington? What's Wellington done this year? I was actually looking that up. I forgot to validate that. Hold on just a second. So we're gonna go to Market Watch, and Market Watch has year-to-date numbers, whereas Yahoo doesn't for some reason. All right. So let's see what we got for Wellington here. DWELX. A bunch of y'all sent me the thing. I'm 50 years old and 1.6 million. I want to quit my crappy old job. Can I? Wham. It's like, oh my goodness. Stop being a brat, whiny McGuiney. My goodness. All right, so the Wellington is up 4.59 so far this year. The S&P, crazy. The S&P is up 9.22. That's after last year's return was up, 32%. And it's down 4.5% in 2018. The S&P 500 has averaged 21.39% annually for the last, that's last year, never mind. The S&P 500 has averaged 13.88% a year for the last 10 years. If we take our trusty calculator, we say 72 divided by 13.88, that means it doubled every 5.18 years. So if you had $100,000 in the S&P 500, it's worth $400,000 today from 10 years ago. That's freaking nuts. And see, this is what drives me crazy. Well, the market's going to crash. All right, well, how much is it going to crash? All right, so let's just say you had $100,000 in the S&P 500 10 years ago, all right? And now you're sitting on $400,000. All right, and the market drops 30%. So $400,000 minus 30% that's 120,000, right? Minus 30%, you're down to 280. You're still almost triple where you were 10 years ago. And that's a 30% decline. That's a pretty big market crash. Yeah, you're still at 280. This is what I don't understand. People start saying, oh my goodness, the market's going to crash. You're up 13.88% a year for the last 10. You've quadrupled your money. And so even if you lose, one of those quadruplings, you're still sitting pretty good, in my opinion. Crazy. All right. Carl used to play games for a penny. Trick was to pop a penny up through the coin return and give you credits. That's funny, man. 1982, hanging out in the student union at Cal Poly, playing Galaga. Millipede, yeah, I remember Millipede. And then the Frogger, remember Frogger? Yep, I ate White Cool Whip too, man, I know. Ooh. Do Roth conversions make sense for the folks with the pension? Oh, David, the freaking tough question there. Yes, they do. That's just specific to your situation, obviously. But yeah, absolutely, they still make sense to people with a pension. I mean, at the end of the day, the facts, you got to, not all the time. I mean, let's just put it this way. Charlotte and I, or Charlotte and me, we're married, filing jointly. We got no fat pensions whatsoever. All right. Does Roth, the first thing we want to do is the Roth should be our default, bar none, because our tax brackets will be higher in the future. Why? Because one of us will die, me, presumably. And so she'll be married single. So we know for a fact that when I die, she'll be left as a widow. And as such, she'll have to pay, after that first year of my death, she'll have to pay single taxpayers. Now remember, qualifying widow or widower isn't what you think. It doesn't give you 2 years after date of death of your husband. I'm telling you, so many people think that it's not true. You get married filing jointly status until that year is over. And then after that, you get your single taxpayer. So remember, husband dies in January, husband dies in December 2020. You are married filing jointly taxpayer for that year. The very next year, you're no longer married filing jointly. And inherently, your tax bracket will be higher because you are now a single taxpayer, not married filing jointly. So anyway, but now with a pension, though, it's different because that additional income that you get might go away. It might not have a survivor benefit on there. It should, might not. And then on top of that, you might actually be saying we're in a 12% tax bracket. If we do Roth conversions, we're going to put us in a 22% tax bracket, which is a 60% increase. And yet, if we did not do Roth conversions, and even if my wife inherited this IRA money, even with a 50% survivor pension, she'd still be in a 12% tax bracket, if that makes sense. So you got to manipulate that some. Lots of good northern Indiana counties. Yep. Patty says, should we put the 7K in Roth until we start doing backdoor when hubby dies? Yeah, absolutely. I got no problem with that. Oh, hubby retires. I don't get the backdoor when hubby retires, meaning conversions. But yeah, the Roth always take advantage of the Roth. I mean, there's absolutely no negatives for taking advantage of the Roth, for sure. So always do Roth, 100% right. We had some addition. We did something to it, Vinyl. So Vinyl said, did you have to pay capital gains because you lived in there the last 2 years? No, we had stuff we had new windows and stuff. So we put enough money into it. So we basically made no money. There's something in New Jersey about, I just forgot what it was. And I'm just telling you, everyone's making it just wasn't that big a deal. Great cost of living in Indiana, but the flat state tax is 3.25 roughly, plus some local taxes. Yep. Let's see. You don't have counties in Connecticut? Really? You got HB. How's there not counties in Connecticut? I mean, but just towns? Mary Hampton, you still on here? No counties? You can give up to 15K per year. Yeah, right. Josh, don't you recall that Crazy Nancy said that for every dollar spent on unemployment produced $2 in economic growth? Hey, in that case, let's spend $10. It's kind of like the minimum wage. Man, you think the $15 minimum wage is good. I say we do $100 minimum wage. And you can see it in their head. They're like, yeah, that kind of makes sense. Yeah, $100 minimum wage. Hell, why not $1,000 minimum wage? Well, that's too much. Oh, so you're trying to take food out of babies' mouths, are you? Freaking. Pensions are killing the New Jersey budget. I tell you, I go back to, I had a couple of when I worked in Center City, they came in just, hey, 200 people. Much obliged for y'all being here. I love live streams. I do. They're fun. So I appreciate y'all being here. I think the Saturday live stream is kind of fun too. So I like my Sunday ones, but I'm still going to do, I enjoy this. I have no life. Let's just be honest with you. My life is you guys, my kids, and then hopefully going around to see these various towns on your behalf. It's a business trip now. It's a business trip to see these various towns around there. I think probably once we get stupid, commie virus behind us, I'll start doing some seminars. I enjoy seminars. I thought about doing that last year, and I just put it on the kibosh. But I like that too. I was watching JP Sears, and he was doing all these comedy shows even during the comedy virus, and he's all selling out like crazy. And I'm not saying I'm not doing comedy. I'm just doing financial planning seminars. But I thought it'd be fun. So he's talking about how much he gets a kick out of it and everything. And I said, I used to do seminars all the time. I mean, hell, from Bangor. Do we go to Bangor? Maybe not. We went to Portland, Maine, all the way down to in Vicksburg. No, not Vicksburg. Starkville, Mississippi. I've done seminars all over the place. So it's I enjoyed immensely. And MOA, we do some just at, in a hotel lobby, not lobby, but a hotel conference room. I've done a ton at like Military Officers Association of America, MOA. There's one up here in Lake Clayton here in Georgia. The one in Starkville is MOA. The one over at Redstone in Huntsville, Alabama is MOA. Did one in Valley Forge, PA is MOA. I did one in someplace in Virginia. I'm drawing a blank where it was. So I've done those kind of seminars all over the place. So I'll be doing that probably start the spring again once the economy virus is behind us. Election predictions. Man, I don't know. I don't trust the polls. I think anything that says the polls are that just doesn't make sense. It's just not. So it's essentially a 45-40. It's probably 47-45. Democrats have the advantage. And everyone thinks the Republicans need to get the independents. That I don't believe that's the Republicans that fall for that trick for so long. Kay Hammond, that we got to moderate our tone so we can get the independence, and yet the Democrats always go to the left, and no one ever says them they got to moderate to get the independence. I think what the Republicans need to do is do a better job of getting out their base who doesn't vote very often because they're pissed off, and Trump's the only guy who can do that. So I'm cautiously optimistic. Not going to lie to you, I am. And here's how, just like I said, maybe when I was doing it, I can't remember, but 56% of the people say they're better off now than they were last year. All right, that's 4 years ago. Remember Reagan? Are you better off now than you were 4 years ago? And if the answer is you're better off, vote for me. And Reagan won in a landslide, 49 states, which include the District of Columbia, and he only lost Minnesota, where Mundale was from, by 3,000 votes. Will Trump win like that? No. But 56% of the people are better off than they were when Sniffy Joe was VP. You can't get a better assessment, and that's with the economy virus of the current state of where you are today, and say I'm better off. Secondly, they poll people, and like the majority say their neighbor is going to vote for Trump, and it's how we knew Clinton was going to win. You all might not remember this, but I remember Rush Limbaugh talked about this like crazy in 1992. He said the economy is not in a recession. It's fine. It's coming back. The media, though, has made people think we're still in a recession. And how you know is because when you interview people, they say, I am fine, but I'm worried about my neighbor. I'm fine, but I'm worried about my neighbor. And that was the indication that people still felt the recession was here in 1992, even though it was not. And, Ross Perot aside, the facts are that people were still worried about a recession because they're saying their neighbor was at risk, even though they did not say they were personally. And I think the same thing can be said here. I don't know if I'm going to vote for Trump because I'm scared that Antifa and Black Lives Matter could be at my house, shooting me, but my neighbor will. You see what I'm saying? And that's I think that bodes well. Trafalgar had a poll with Trump back in Arizona winning, Trump back in Florida winning, and the Democrats. I just read an article today that Democrats feel they could take out some previously red states. I'm like, well, if that's the case, where's Sniffy Joe? He should be in Georgia. Ain't no Sniffy Joe running around here. Not that I pay much mind, but there's no Sniffy, no cop, the cop Kamala run around here. And so Georgia should be right up. Stacey Abrams only lost by 1.5%. So anyway, if I stop, I don't watch politics, Vinyl. I pay no mind to Fox News or any of those. I just don't watch. I literally don't watch any TV except I watch YouTube when I'm taking a walk. I watch Matt Christensen, of course, Tim Pool. I listen to a lot of podcasts. Brett Weinstein with his wife Heather. Who else? Listen to a great one today. Alex Epstein. I don't know what I did my phone. Alex Epstein talked about. There it is. This is a fantastic, and he runs the moral case for fossil fuels. Alex Epstein. I can't remember what his. Anyways, is a great podcast. All right. I hope the Fed doesn't bail out state. Yeah, I agree. New Jersey. Oh, all right. Do you have a video on reverse RMD? Not yet. Not yet. I will though. Dan says the toll collectors and toll booth collectors get $100,000 pension in Massachusetts. Ugh. Zachary cashes his stuff out on Friday. We'll get back in after contested election results. Yep. Yeah, folks that are that smart take that $100K a year pension, move down south, and screw things up with their parasitic nature of government growth. I completely agree. Last night we had a guy named Robert B on here. He's wanting to buy my house. He wanted to move from Long Island, and it turns out he's a big lib. I said, no, sirree. We don't need big libs fleeing Long Island because of the taxes they voted for, coming down to Georgia and raising our taxes. See, oh, I missed something there. Yeah, state government's based on counties. Yeah, I think every state's based on counties, right? All right, let's see. Do a seminar near an airport. Yep. No, we don't want to outlaw polls, man. That's can't. Let's. How about this? No new laws. No new laws. That's that's there should be a law. Nope. There's a meme on, I can't remember, but it said there should be a law, and the guy says no more laws. We got enough laws. We don't need any laws. Let's see. Yes, we have counties, says Mary. I'm concerned that government would change Roth rules. Yeah, well, I get it. That's what Rick Edelman is saying too. But you gotta. I mean, we'll have to worry about that later for sure. All right. Mary says, when I retire, I have a lump sum pension. What will be my tax liability? Well, it completely depends, Mary, on how you take the money out. Your tax liability. If you roll it to an IRA, it's going to be deferred for sure. If you take it out as a lump sum, literally from your pension as a lump sum and put in your checking account, it's going to be huge, depending on how much you have. If you take it as a pension, i.e. an annuity, you're just going to pay tax on the income you receive. So it just depends, Mary, on how you pull that out. Will Biden impact the court? The key is if you don't need a pool of money for 10 years or more, it should stay invested in the market at all times. If retired, always have enough cash to get you through any downdraft. Yeah, I agree. That's the drawback about the reverse RMD scenario is that really it's taking away. Well, I tell you what, I'm just going to show you guys. Let me just. I think I got it up here. Hold on just a second. There we go. All right. Now I'm sure I've showed you this before, but I'm going to do it again. All right. So I'm going to show you, and I don't know if my man Bob from Atlanta is on here. Not Atlanta, Bob from Arkansas. But he was telling me to make, and it was a good suggestion, to make my take on the barbell a lot more. This is what you do. And I was just doing it. I said, I like this better, the reverse. So here's the 10% reverse RMD. All right, here we start off. So the way to incorporate any reverse RMD method is simple. You take the initial amount you intend to use, in this case, 10% as your starting point. You multiply that by the end of year account balance, and that is your distribution amount. The next year, you reduce that 10% by 0.2% or 20 basis points to get 9.8%, and you multiply that amount by the end of year account balance. I want to stress end of year account balance because we're assuming when you retire, you have enough cash to cover your first year of expenses. Do not retire until you have enough cash on the side to cover the first year of expenses. All right, so we show you. The reason we start in 1930, well, the Wellington Fund started in 1929, but you can see 21% return, 26% negative return. And so we had 3 consecutive down years. Never before or never since have we had that with Wellington. So we started with $100,000. It was down 21%. So we had $78,790 as our end of year value. We had a 10% distribution, which means we took $78.79 out and we subtract $78.79 from that. And we started the next year at $70,911. Next year, we're down 26%. And you can see we took $5,113 out And the next year we were down to 47,000. And then we were only down 1.8. And the next year we're down to 41,000. And the next year we're down to 40,000. Now we start getting some growth. So we're back up to 65,000 here. And we're, look at that. And we're taking 6,286 out in year 7. And then we got swamped in 1937. So at the end of that, so we only were able to take $3,600. Now, a lot of people say, oh my goodness, that's not adjusting for inflation. There was no inflation in the first decade. The 1930s, there was literally no inflation. The average was it was a deflation of about 2% a year, basically throughout the decade. So there was no inflation there. And so that's why the bonds in the Wellington Fund actually did quite well, because when there isn't in deflation and bonds are fixed income is always a wonderful asset in deflation. But anyway, so we go forward and you can see we have all this and we still have money. And 30 years later, we're only taking $3,700 out. And I'll show you what it looks like when you adjust it for inflation, but we did not run out of money. We had money. So if running out of money is your concern, there's no better strategy, because we were able to take a good amount out in the first year. Now, this is in 1930. If we retired 1 year later in 1931, all right, so here, we'll watch this. So we only had 2 down years, and basically, 1932 wasn't much of a down year. But I'm telling you that 1 year made all the difference. Watch. So not only do we, in 1930, we have 85,000 left. In 1931, we have 114,000 left. You can see we're taking 5,000, 5,000, 5,000, 4,000, 5,000. You see what I'm saying? We're never going down below, look, we're even here in 1935, 1936. We never go below 4,000 ever in 1931. Whereas in 1930, if we retire, we got 3,000 there. We got 2,988 there. You see what I'm saying? So they got 2,000 there. So that 1 year made all the difference. Be it as it is, though, 1930, 1966, 1973, and 2000 are the 4 retirement bad years that we have to consider. And so we go to 1966, again, Barbell and Wellington at 4% ran out with if you're adjusting with inflation, the Barbell and the Wellington Fund at 4% distributions both ran out because the inflation was smoking us. It just was. But here in 1966, all right, we got negative year, and we're taking 9,000, 8,900, 8,500, 7,000, 6,500, 63, 62, 5, 3, 4, 4, back up to 4, back up to 4, back up to 5, back up to 6. You see what I'm saying? So we were able to last because the inflation, even though we're taking more on the front end, because we were able to last our actually income, even though we're getting smoked here, because we did not run out of money. By the time 1982 came and the Reagan bull market was upon us, we started kicking butt and taking names. So we not only did we last, we actually thrived. And then you go back to 1973 when we're down 11 and 17% respectively with high inflation. Look, but we never had below 88, 60, 7,000, 7,000, 6,000, 6,000, 6,000, 6,000, 6,000, 7,000, 7,000. And then again, we had money left in 1982 when the Reagan bull market started. And this is in 1973. And now we're sitting on 230 at the end of 2002. Now, it's crazy. Here's retiring in 2000. All right, moderately low inflation. We got smoked the first 3 years of 2000. At least the S&P 500 did, but the Wellington did not. And here at 11,000, 10,000, 8,000, 8,000, 8,000, 8,000, 8,000, 5,000 after 2008, 6,000, 6,000, 5,000. You can see all that, and we're still at 5,600 by the time 2019 comes around. And so basically, where are we going to be over the next 10 years with the retiring with a 10% reverse in 2000? I don't know, but we're 20 years into retirement, man. 20 years into retirement, which means the likelihood of us surviving 30 years is quite small to begin with. But even if we do, we're probably going to be in pretty good shape. So what's happening here, I'm going to show you guys something because this goes back to my book. I just want to compare, right? I think I want to compare that. All right, so I'm showing you, this is a 12% reverse RMD versus a inflation, 4% inflation. The 12% reverse RMD was a bridge too far. I like the 10%, which I explained in the book. But here's 12% reverse RMDs. You can see starting in 1931, that we were only, they crossed right there in 1946 is when the 4% a year overcame in terms of cash flow, the 12% reverse RMDs. I hope that makes sense. So basically it took half your retirement. You were on the first half of your retirement with a 12% reverse RMD, the 10% is the same thing. You were living much larger than you were the 4%. But then you can see the gap getting bigger. Well, my contention is, as is all the studies, that as you age, your spending goes down anyway. So even though there's a bigger and bigger gap here between the 4% adjusted for inflation and the reverse RMD, well, I hate to say it, but this is where the times you're partying, man. This is when you're partying like it's 1999 right here. This is the time you're sitting there with Bertha with your freaking wheelchair. Like, yeah, I don't care, Bertha. Get off my lawn. And so that is a choice you'll have to make. But the facts are, in my experience, and I can almost guarantee your own anecdotal experience, you're witnessing people who spend less as they age. If you start 1930, oh, here's the account balance of 4% adjusted for inflation and a 12% starting in 1930. Here's the 4% adjusted for inflation. Here's the 12%. Well, that's a lot of money you're leaving to your kids. Great. Wow. Fantastic. That's awesome. So essentially, you left them all this money because you weren't spending it. And you weren't spending it here, and particularly in the front end of your retirement. So again, as I always say, you flew coach so your kids could fly first class. I'm not doing that, man. I'm not doing that. I'm flying first class. And my kids can freaking hitchhike. You see what I'm saying? And that's what happens. The 4% adjusted for inflation, the 4% rule, is very good at most likely protecting assets for your heirs. It's not very good at giving you an asset base that you can live on the beginning of your retirement. It's not. But then everyone says, but what if we run out of money? Well, that's with the reverse RMD. You don't run out of money. I just showed you. You don't. And this is the worst years ever. 1973, 1966, 1930, and 2000. And the reverse RMDs every single time never ran out of money. They can't. It's impossible for that to happen unless everything goes to zero. So that's how the reverse RMDs work. And I just the drawback is it's scary because no one else has ever talked about before. Frankly, what I'm going to do, my next book is going to be solely on reverse RMDs, and I'm going to look at S&P 500 because the issue is that the inflation. What happened with my barbell approach? Now I don't know if I have it on here. I think I do. Hold on a second. Let me go to the table of contents. 6 adjustment for inflation. Hold on. It's no right here. Inflationary years right here. All right. So let's go to the inflationary years. After inflation, you lost money in the Wellington Fund from 1966 and 1982, and that doesn't include the tax you had to pay. Okay. Hold on a sec. Let me. Yeah. Here's that's the S&P. All right. Hold on a sec. Wellington. I'm not going to find off the top of my head right here. All right, so here's the S&P. That's again the S&P 500. All right. So here's the starting in 1966. If you had the Wellington, you only lasted 21 years when you adjusted for inflation with a 4% rate of 4% withdrawal. 5% rate of withdrawal, you only lasted 14 years. 6% rate of withdrawal, you only lasted 12, adjusted for inflation. If you did a fixed at 4, 5, or 6%, you had money left over. That's a fact. They lasted 30 years. But you can see right there, 4% with Wellington, to good old-fashioned 4% adjusted with inflation, it only lasted 21 years. But S&P 500 lasted 4% adjusted with inflation because they didn't have the bonds. And the bonds got smoked from 1966 to 1982. I cannot stress this enough. It was horrible. S&P 500 lasted at 4% adjusted with inflation. S&P 500 lasted with 6% fixed. And then you go back to 1973. This is a 5% adjusted with inflation in the Wellington starting in 1973, and it did just fine. Yeah, well, it lasted until 1993. That's only 20 years, excuse me. So that's a 5% initial withdrawal adjusted with inflation starting in 1973. It's just the bonds, man. See, this is the problem. The bonds that the Wellington has, about a third of the bonds it just ate us alive. Starting in 1973, the 4% did work. you did have money left over. So you can see you had 236,000 left over, and that's fine. But look, you're only taking the beginning of retirement, 4,200, 4,700. And again, my argument is that now you're taking all this money out later, 16,000, 17,000, but who cares? Anyway, so I hope that makes sense. Let me go back to here. So I just, when it comes to the risk reward, I think the I think the reverse RMD works best because it gives you the reward on the front end. And at some point, you may have to tighten your belt if you want to, but you don't have to. You're just not going to run out of money. Now, you might not have that much to spend on the back end. But, if you have no mortgage, who cares? Take reverse mortgage or sell your house or something like that. But what I'm saying is assured not to run out of money, whereas the other ones are not. And if we go into a higher inflationary time with a low investment return time, like in Japan, if you look at Japan in 1990, their markets just got skunked, and you're doomed. And now there was no inflation in Japan for the last 25 years, but from 1990, you just got skunked, man. There's no other way around that. There's nothing you could have done. So if we go to a higher inflation with a low rate of return time, you're skunked because there's nothing to protect yourself other than having no debt on your home. And that's the only thing. That's the thing that's biggest concern, is that a lot of people are ignorant of that could happen. We haven't seen it, but it could happen. A low return. I mean, I guess you could look at it like the 1960s and the latter part of the 1960s, the entirety of the 1970s, low return and high inflation, for sure. But see, that's if we go into something like that, the bonds just get eaten alive. And I don't think that's going to happen. I don't, but you're only getting on the bond market right now, you're only getting, like I said, 75 basis points on the 10-year treasury. It's not giving you much reward for the risk that you're taking. And the risk that you're taking is two things. It's taxes, because bonds do pay ordinary income tax. And if it comes out of an IRA, you got to pay ordinary income tax. So your bonds are paying ordinary income tax regardless. And part two of that is inflation. Even a moderately low inflation still is eating alive the bonds. Let me draw this for you. So I think a lot of people miss how this works. We'll say you have a 2% bond. Well, the 2% bond is flat. It's fixed. It's a coupon. That's how much that is. The 2% is fixed. You're not getting more. You're not getting less. You're getting 2%. That's it. 2%. Now, say you have a 2% inflation. All right. Well, here's the thing with inflation. Inflation goes up. So we take a 2% inflation. We're going to say the next year we take our trusty calculator, 2 times, that's 2.04. 2.08, 2.12. And so what's happening here, even with a 2% inflation, in 1, 2, 3 years, your inflation is 2.12 because it compounds, where your bond is still at 2% coupon. You see what I'm saying? So you're losing. It's a guarantee that you're going to lose on your bond relative to inflation because your inflation compounds. And you don't reinvest bonds. You can't reinvest in the same coupon. It doesn't work like that. A coupon, literally, they just pay you the cash. Now, you can reinvest in stocks, but that's not a compounding interest necessarily. You can spend it. If you're spending it inherently, it's not compounding. But either way, this right here is a non-compounding asset. It's fixed. Inflation is a compounding asset, which means, and on top of that, you got to pay tax on this 2%. That's still taxed as ordinary income. So you're losing to inflation twice, because inflation is eating alive your principal just by sitting there. Even if they're both at 2%, a 2% inflation eats alive your principal on a 2% coupon. And on top of that, you got to pay tax on that 2% coupon as well. Bonds are evil things, that's for sure. Now, the reason I like them is because they do give you some short-term reprieve, like the Wellington fund. It does. I mean, it works, man. No other way around that. And because that, when we got smoked in 2001 and 2 in the S&P 500, the Wellington did not. It simply did not happen the same way. The 1980, the Wellington was up double digits. The S&P 500, I don't believe was. So the Wellington does give you a reprieve there. But, at the end of the day, if we go into inflationary environment, the bonds are going to get pummeled. There's just no getting around that. On top of that, not only the bonds going to get pummeled, the bonds you own right now are going to get pummeled. Freaking, it's going to be insane. And the reason is because you block these low interest rates in bonds, and if we get any kind of even regular inflation, you're smoked, man, because you're going to get a 2% coupon with a 4% inflation. Those suckers are going to have no value. You won't be able to offload those to save your life. All right, so my wife's a teacher, and her 403b options have high fees. Is it worth investing in these accounts? No, no, man. Just go to Vanguard or Schwab or Fidelity. I like Vanguard. Absolutely not, man. Whoa, is my man Jeff on here? Because he bought some. Jeff bought some Royal Caribbean at like 3 or something like that. Is that 33 now? Josh needs to convert the bus and travel as well as buy a tiny home on a huge acre, be a microgreen farmer for the wealthy lives. Yeah, man. Margaret Schaefer, isn't Margaret Schaefer our Kansas City Chief fan? My mother lives in South Dakota, might retire there too. Right on. Wellington performed very well in the 80s and 90s, but bonds started very high and fell. I don't think balanced funds can do as well with rates below inflation. I tend to agree with that. Go to South Dakota in the winter. She'll be sold on staying put. We shall see. Hit the thumbs up. Right on, Mary. Much obliged for saying that. I'll take okay, we talked about that. CB says he'll take a buyout from his top S&P 500 company for his pension. Since no coal and PBGH is broke too, I will 3 buckets, Wellington, Wellesley, and VDIX. Yep, right on. VDIGX. All right, cool. I couldn't agree more. Bitcoin says somebody, Toffer. All right. If you think a good company is cheap, you should buy it. Intel is cheap. Eric says he doesn't think Trump's is going to carry Wisconsin. Let's see. I'm happy. Okay. Juan says Biden 2020. All right, we talk about that. All right. We have okay. So there's a battle royale cage match between two Connecticut's. One says there's no counties, and Mary, the realtor, says there is. I have a sneaky suspicion there are counties in Connecticut. New Haven County for the win. There you go. There you go. There's one. The guy says Biden 15 minimum wage all the way. Why not a 20 minimum wage? Why do you want to rob kids of their right to eat food, Juan? Why 15? Oh yeah, there's going to be if you roll your money to an IRA, Mary, there's going to be taxes when you pull that money out. That's no doubt about that. No doubt about that. Social Security. Yeah, I did Saturday too, Jill. Yeah, we did. See, I don't know how does it work? How come sometimes when I'm on YouTube, I'll see someone says, "Oh, this guy's live now" or something like that, but other times I don't see it. I'm not sure how that works. Social Security at 62 if both spouses have pension, a lot in deferred accounts, and one spouse back at work making $94K. I wouldn't take Social Security at 62. Heck no. I especially got a lot of deferred accounts. I'd be pulling my deferred accounts off and deferring Social Security. I talk about that a lot. Start pulling your deferred accounts before you take Social Security, without question. Without question. I love staying home. My family thinks I'm nuts. You know. So many times a high wealth tax has been implemented to disaster results by these states. Right. Wyoming's great, 500,000 people in the whole state. Yeah, we got lots of wind, right? I hear that about South Dakota, but we got to figure it myself. All right. Connecticut counties, they got a few other counties. New York City had one, they lost a higher. Yeah, we'll be fine. Okay. All right, they got geographical. Oh, okay, they got so counties in Connecticut don't have government. That's interesting. There's no county government. Well, why? I mean, that's kind of cool. I wonder why there's why are they so expensive then? Because counties, somebody's got to pay for the counties. Every time I okay. Is it true that Roth IRA and self-directed LLC would be taxed because the LLC? Man, I have no idea, man. Masquerade LLC manager. Is it true that a Roth IRA and an LLC be because of taxes viewed LLC is taxed as a trust structure? I don't know. I don't know, man. Ooh. All right. So if the Dem win, the correct strategy hides the candidate in the basement. Yeah, Dan says his vote in Massachusetts is worth nothing, but it will be worth something in New Hampshire. Can I use an IRA deduction and then use the after-tax money for a Roth contribution? No, you can't do that because you can. IRA distribution. Excuse me. Can I use an IRA distribution and then use the after-tax money for a Roth contribution? Yeah, and then I don't start another. Yeah, so you could certainly do that. I mean, if you've got earned income, you got to have earned income. You can't make more than a certain threshold, but sure, you got the money from your IRA, you're paying tax on it, hopefully not penalty, and then you use that money to fund your Roth. Absolutely. It's a mistake to run on the strategy that you're not like the other guy. All right. I read someplace a good gold ETF is iShares Gold Trust. I have no personal experience with it. I don't think you should own a gold ETF. I think you should own the gold bullion outright, without question. Was Royal Caribbean low at 18? I thought it was like 3 or something like that. All right, let's see. Never buy stocks again. Buy gold, silver, guns, and bullets. And that's. I want to retire at 62. What can I expect for healthcare until 65? I use $800 a month, Jim, per person. That's what I use as a default. It depends if you're in a rural county, it might be as high as $1,000 a month. If you're in an urbaner county, but I think starting at $800 a month per person until you hit Medicare is the way to go. And then remember, Medicare is not free. All these people, Medicare for all, it's just free, just floats off the trees. Part B, 150 roughly. It's not 100. It's 144. I get it, but I like nice. This lump of coal, and these are nice round numbers. 150 for Part B, 50 for Part D, 150 for your Medigap. You add all those up. You got 150 plus 150. That's 300 plus 50. That's 350, and then you get another 2,000 or so out of pocket expenses, and you look at $4,000 to $5,000 a year in Medicare per person, by the way. And it's just gonna be free. AOC is gonna make it free, and they're gonna see we have a minimum wage. We're all gonna have housing. Like we're at the tippy top of the people who are gonna pay the taxes. No one else has to pay the tax. Just the tippy top. We are ruled by just mind-numb morons. It's insane. And I was listening to my man Alex Epstein today. Talk about he's at Lafayette College, where that is, and he's saying that he was giving his presentation on the moral case for fossil fuels, and these professors basically don't want him to be there. They said we don't even want to give him a platform. I'm like, what the hell happened to search for the truth in universities? It's crazy. You might not agree with it, but and this is what people are coming out like AOC, just dumb as rocks, man. I mean, that chick is just dumb. That's all there is to it. And look, Joe Biden's dumb as rocks too. So don't say it's sexist. You're saying no, Joe Biden doesn't have a brain. I mean, look, the guy's just not that bright. Dumb as rocks. AOC is dumb as rocks. And so the issue is that you got these dumb as rocks people coming out today, and they've only heard one thing. They've been completely brainwashed. It's the weirdest. It's not weird, it's scary, because the idea that we can, again, is don't tax you, don't tax me, tax that guy behind the tree. And what that means is it's a 50+1 monstrosity. Oh, we have enough votes to take your personal liberty. And that's what we're looking at here today. And they're saying, we need you to give to him. I was talking to somebody today, and we're having a discussion on whether or not they should get rid of the cap on Social Security. I don't, A, it'd kill me, I'm telling you right now. B, I don't think so, because if you're getting rid of the cap, what's happening there is you have the higher income people are funding the benefit. We know Social Security is a Ponzi scheme. I mean, that no one can deny that. It is a complete Ponzi scheme, but it is what it is. The benefit that socials that FDR did when he passed it, he says everybody has an entitlement in Social Security. Everybody does. Everybody has a reason to pay taxes. The richest guy and the poorest guy, they're all contributing it through their labor. If you got rid of the cap and then you did not, and you had a cap on benefit, all you're doing there is you're thieving from people like me to give to somebody who did not earn the entitlement. And I don't think that's good. I think work and ownership actually creates a better society. So when you're saying, look, if you get rid of the cap, that's fine. You're going to get higher benefit though. And that I got no qualm with that. I'm fine with getting rid of the cap. That means I got a higher benefit. More power to you, man. But absolutely. But if you get rid of the cap only to keep my benefit at $3,100 a month or whatever is the max right now, and yet this guy over here is going to get a thing on my labor, that's theft to the highest order, and that's complete thievery. And then what happens is then Social Security no longer becomes an entitlement; it becomes a welfare program. You're saying you don't need to do something, guy. I'm here to take care of you. My name is AOC. We're going to tax that guy behind the tree as long as you vote for me. And it's 2 against 1. Josh, you surrender your rights. And that's evil stuff, dudes. Evil stuff. Because you know what they do next? They're never happy. They're never happy. They say, Josh, we're going to expropriate your property because you're productive. But by you being, look, we've seen this in the kulaks. Just read Russian history. That happens all the time. There is always someone to blame, be it the Jews, be it the Christians, be it the Catholics by the Klan, be it the blacks, be it the kulaks, the Rwandan, the Tutsis and Hutsis, Hutsis and Tutus, whatever. There's always someone to blame. Always someone to blame when everyone is not happy. And the reason they're not happy is because they haven't been told the virtue of working hard and getting, hey there, buddy. There's Pablo. Make sure you pile the like button. And so what happens here is it's a $15 minimum wage. It's going to be great. Of course, I say, hey, why not a 20? Huh? Why not a 20? Because what they'll say is, well, 15 is just a start. We got to get that through. The tax in Illinois that they're trying to pass, that's just a start. Shh, don't tell anybody, as if we're that stupid not to realize that. Wellesley and Wellington are best for downside protection against S&P. I 100% agree. 100% agree. If you buried $100 in cash and silver today, 100 years ago, the $100 is still worth only 100. The silver would be worth more than 500, and the S&P 500 would be worth an extraordinary amount. Extraordinary amount. Absolutely. Dividend stocks gave most return during Japanese downturn. All right. This guy's really big on gold and silver. Figure the local paces would rip you off. Coin shops. Yeah, all right. Now go to jmbullion.com. Whopper. That's what I do. jmbullion.com. Mary wants a reverse RMD with 200K. Yeah. And so you'd have to, again, Mary, I did 12, 10, and 8%. And the 8% was good in inflationary times. The 10% was good in both inflationary times and deflationary times. The 12% was great in deflationary times, but not in inflationary times. So you kind of split the difference and you go with the 10% for sure. All right. All right. So, hey, thanks, Ripple Rich. Gave me $1.99. Much obliged. All right. So, Dan says, I'm wondering if anyone's looked at how much government has invested in the stock market with if you do well, we do well. Ooh, that's good, man. That's a great question. That's a great question. Yeah, I like spreadsheets. Big fan. First time, long time. Let's see. JT, agree the companies just pass on higher taxes with higher prices. The way it always works, man, for sure. All right, so Josh, I'm 28 and throwing heavily into the market. I plan to retire in 20 years. I have a taxable account, but thinking to open a Roth IRA that can avoid tax on dividends. 100%. If you don't make too much money, there's no reason not to do that. There literally is no reason. Roth always. Absolutely. Biden is considering Cuomo as attorney general. Now that's friggin' scary. That's friggin' scary. That's scary. I don't have any problem with Edelman Financial Services, Doc. They charge a hell of a lot of money, man. That's all there is to it. I mean, I followed Rick Edelman when I first got out of the Army in 1992. I remember listening to him on WMAL. I think it was 6:30 in DC area on Saturdays or something like that. But they charge a lot of money. Rick has seemed to be in the I don't know. He just lately just rubs me. I haven't listened to him for about a year. The last couple of times I listened to him, he just rubbed me wrong. I can't explain it better than he was trying to be so heavy. It's like being a futurist. I don't like it. Like, we're all gonna live to 150. You're gonna have 4 different careers. And I don't know. That's just. I mean, he was a salesman. He's a salesman. Now he's coming across as like he's some futurist, and I'm just not impressed. And then the fees they charge are extraordinarily high. I know a couple of people over there. I did a couple of videos on Edelman Financial Services, and a couple of these guys who I was friends with were really mad at me. Really mad. I said, well, is that the fees? Yeah. I said, well, I think it's quite high. Well, they're getting this, that, and the other. I said, I think it's quite high. I don't think those fees, I think it's high. No other way around it. I'm not saying it's evil. I'm not saying they're stealing. I just think it's high. And it's high fee. And I think there's something else I did not like about, it's been 2 years since I did the video on Edelman Financial Services. I got no qualm with it. I think I said enough. Kathy, we don't read news anymore. We have people trying to brainwash all. Yeah, exactly, Kathy. What is my man Xavier? Does he keep talking smack? What's this guy talking? Can you whistle? Okay, Xavier's talking nuts. All right, so let's see what we have here. How do you value military pension? Oh, value it very high. And make sure you get the SBP, survivor benefit, please. Unless there's some significant reasons not to, but make sure you get the SBP. So military pensions, like I value any pension, you're going to get a certain percentage. But remember, military pensions do have cost of living adjustments. All right, now you're paying what, $300 a month for the survivor benefit, SBP for 55% benefit. Military pension is a big deal, man. Anyway, so for any pension, I say, okay, if there's a lump sum payout, let's just say $100,000, and you're getting $500 a month, you take your trusty calculator, you times 500 a month by 12, and that's 6,000. You divide that into the lump sum that you get, and that would be, in this case, a 6% distribution yield, which is pretty good. And if it's got a cost of living adjustment, it's very good. Come on, buddy. Hold on. Come here. Here comes somebody. Here he comes. Come here. Yay. Here's my partner. Hello, everybody. Look at this guy. Ooh, love that guy. But yes, you value it like a bond where you, I'm not a fan of Fisher. Had a number of people who had bad experiences at Fisher. That's just all there is to it. And I don't have any. Ken Fisher himself, he doesn't bother me, but I'm not a fan. I just don't think it's worth paying asset management fee. I just don't. Don't let Cuomo come to long-term care facilities. What age do most smart people start going conservative? Not at 35, Dustin. Nope. I don't think most smart people do go conservative, frankly. I think most smart people want to have no debt, to be perfectly honest with you. Yep. Josh, we could remove the cap and create a new bend point with Social Security with 1% rate. Yeah, I'd rather have I don't want a 1% rate. What we got, 90, 32, and 15. Make it a 10% rate. That'd be all right. Aaron, like Jack Boat Nature tells you, don't just stand there, do something in the market. You should say, don't just do something. Don't do something, just stand there. That wasn't Jack Bogle. That's my man Lou Rukeyser. Don't do something, stand there. Yep. All right. Great. So Aaron asked a great question. What was it? Should I pull out of stocks before election? I wouldn't. No, you can't let election determine your investments, man. You just can't. I've learned that in the Obama years. You just can't let politics determine your investments. Nope. Yikes. Hopefully my Vanguard advisor will adjust my bond allocation. If inflation occurs, that ain't going to happen. I'm telling you right now, they're not going to adjust bond allocation if inflation occurs. You're going to have to be on that for sure. Isn't the big money driving out the USA markets into Asia other than gold and silver and crypto? Isn't being in the stock market suicide? Thanks. Well, I don't consider myself suicidal, so I would obviously say no to that because I got nothing but stocks, man. I mean, look, we've heard doom and gloom about stock market for years. I mean, going back, I'm telling you, just going back to Lou Rukeyser, just watch the old Wall Street Week shows. They interview all these guys. They all say the same thing. The balanced budget, the budget deficits, blah, the tax cuts, they're going to kill the budget. We're going to have hyperinflation, blah, 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 the market, blah, 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 the interest rate, blah. They've all been wrong. They've all been wrong. Doesn't mean they can't be right, but they've all been wrong, man. They've been saying the stock market doom and gloom for years. And you see Business Week in 1979, they had the death of equities. And, we've had since the Reagan and Clinton run from 1982 to 1999 was the greatest wealth creation in the history of mankind. It's nuts. And if you read Business Week and you missed out on that, you missed out on the greatest wealth creation literally in the history of mankind by being in stocks. Now, bonds did well too. I mean, everything did well. From 1982 to 1999, you could you could take a pee in the woods and make mint. You see what I'm saying? It was that easy. The easy days are gone. The bonds aren't going to do anything. The bonds only have risk at them now. They're not making money, and they can't make money because the rates are too low. It's inherently impossible for bonds to make any money. Can they give you a reprieve? Sure, but you're not making money in bonds. It ain't happening. Those days are gone, never to come back. So bonds have nothing. The only thing bonds can do for you now is give you a backstop against a huge market crash. We hope. But like 2008, the only thing that made money was government bonds, because not only did it give you a backstop against market crash, it said we will return your principal. And so that made people want to buy them up. That's not a permanent rate of return. It's fleeting. So bonds are a no-go. Absolutely. Stocks we don't know, but we've always been like that with stocks. Always. And so because of that, it's the best bet in town, because there's literally hardly any issue in holding a stock. It doesn't cost anything. They don't pay a broker. Asset management fee, but on that, there's no carrying cost. The tax rate on capital gains is low relative to the tax rate on ordinary income. Pay off your debt, own some stocks. That's the way. And then have, a couple years cash on the side. It's the best portfolio ever. Pay off your debt, own some stocks, a couple years cash on the side. Done and done. All right, my friends. And with that, I think I'm going to call it a night. Appreciate y'all being here for sure. Yeah. How do you make interest on a bond with no interest rate? You can't. That's it. There's no coupon. Now, you could make on a zero coupon bond, you're buying it at a discount. So you're buying it at 75. And when it matures in 20 years, you'll get $100 for it. But that's not very, there are lots of people that work hard and pay their Social Security, but love casinos and lottos and don't save for their furniture. Don't save for their future. No, I got you. No, I completely agree. All right, guys, we'll get out of here. Appreciate y'all being here. For high earners like Josh, never thought I'd hear that, Dan, but it's true, man. The last couple of years been nuts. Keep in mind your income level is near cutoffs. A 401k can keep you below some thresholds, like for the CARES Act or future ones. I'm not sure what you're saying there, brother, but I gotcha. All right, my friends, we will see you later. Thanks for being here. Got lots of fun videos. We'll be reading my book on the Wellington Fund. Jeremy told me to F off. Jeremy does not like me. Oh, Jeremy, why? I thought we were friends, man. Why? Oh, man, we were brothers from another mother. Now you're telling me to F off. Why? Anyway, so what you got, Rebecca? I thought I had one other thing I want to say. Oh, so I'm going to read my book chapter by chapter, and I'll just put the videos up there. And if you want to comment, that'd be great. I'm hoping I'll be done this week. So I'm hoping I can start getting that guy out there by the end of this week. That's my goal. All right, we'll see you guys. Thanks.